Hello everyone, today's poem is 行路难其一 by Li Bai. Another wine drinking poems by Li Bai. A poem in the short list of the most famous poems by Li Bai. 行路难 actually is a title belonging to the musical department of the Han dynasty, 乐府诗. And here, Li Bai just borrowed the title and the topic from the musical department poems. So, most probably, Li Bai actually refers or borrowed a lot of the ideas and images from another famous poet in the South dynasty, Bao Zhao. The poet name is Bao Zhao. So this person is a very unique person or outstanding person in that period because he's so different from the majority of the people and the poets. He writes a big variety of topics, and this is one of the very famous poems he wrote, and it consists of roughly more than 10 poems, all titled as 行路难. It's hard to go through the journey, so that's the title means. And normally, in the musical department, even in the Bao Zhao's time in the South Dynasty, as well as for Li Bai, this type of poems normally depicts the difficulties when travel on the road. Anyhow, the real meaning doesn't refer to the travel on the road. In the ancient China, even today, a lot of times the journey, the travel actually is almost identical to the career path or to the lifelong pursuit. So it's very frequently to simulate the journey as the career path and the lifelong pursuit. So the difficulties on the road actually is describing the difficulties of the career path or the lifelong pursuit. One of the very interesting and very important questions on this poem is, what time did Li Bai write this poem? So basically, we know Li Bai's life could be divided into three main time frames. One is before his 40s. He spent a lot of time travel around, make his fame spread out, and let the emperor know his fame. Thus, he can get a position in the central government. That's his lifelong pursuit. He wants to serve the emperor directly and to do something great for the country. And finally, he was summoned by the emperor and called into the royal palace, but not for long. Just for 3 years, serving the emperor directly, he was abandoned by the emperor. After the emperor abandoned him, he restored his lifestyle as before, travel around the country, dining party all the time, and drink a lot of wine, of course. And one more important, he became a formal Taoist monk. He practiced Taoism very seriously. So there's two sayings about when Li Bai wrote this poem. The most popular one is Li Bai wrote this poem during the year 744, at which year he was abandoned by the emperor and he was still in the capital city. But very soon he left the capital city and traveled around. So basically that's the most popular sayings. The other saying is in his 30s. So he's just a normal person. He went to Chang'an City, the capital city, 2 times or 3 times, where he try to make friends and to spread his fame around the royal societies, also the high-ranking officials. Finally, Li Bai ended up his life in the capital city with nothing. He had to left Chang'an City, the capital city, hopeless and moneyless. So basically, that's the most two possible time that Li Bai write this poem. And my personal opinion is this poem is most probably written in the years before he was summoned by the emperor in his 30s. And also, Li Bai write 3 poems, so-called 行路难. Both, they all called 行路难, but title is 行路难其一, this one is the first one, and 行路难其二, the second one, 行路难其三, the third one. In my own opinion, the first and the second poems was written during the years he's still as a normal person. He's not summoned by the emperor yet, so he's still struggling to make his fame spread out and let his fame heard by the emperor. It's really a hard struggle, of course, and he's in the age of 30 to 40. And the third poem, in my opinion, was written in the time frame when he was serving the emperor. Maybe Li Bai didn't go very well with the emperor at the moment, and maybe he felt the difficulties to dealing the political stuff, and he expressed a lot of the complaints, and also he expressed the thought to be a hermit. So that made me think this poem was written in the time frame when he was serving the emperor in the central government. Anyhow, after we go through these poems, you can figure out your decision, what time frame Li Bai wrote these poems. And also I would attach the second and the third poems at the very end of this video. I won't talk about that, but you can have a cross-check on that. And if you have the more interest, you can try to figure out the time frame when Li Bai wrote the third and the second poem.
行路难，李白。金樽清酒斗十千，玉盘珍羞直万钱。停杯投箸不能食，拔剑四顾心茫然。欲渡黄河冰塞川，将登太行雪满山。闲来垂钓碧溪上，忽复乘舟梦日边。行路难，行路难，多歧路，今安在？长风破浪会有时，直挂云帆济沧海。Very simple and easy understanding points, but let's dig further and also keep in your mind what time frame most probably Li Bai wrote this poem. Let's keep this question through the video. 金樽清酒斗十千。金樽, the golden cup, we had that word in other poems. 清酒, the clear wine, we have also introduced that. And the Japanese also use this character to describe sake. So the pronunciation in Japanese is sake. When you're writing, it's same as the Chinese, and that's the word 清酒。斗十千 Dou is the vessel we have introduced. Basically, it's more than a half liter's volume. So a half liter will cost 10,000 money. So that's the most expensive wines in the Tang Dynasty. We can see in many poems they describe the most expensive wines as 斗十千. So that's the refers to very, very luxury and expensive wines. 玉盘珍羞直万钱. So that's the same meaning as the first one. 玉盘, the plate made of jade, very expensive luxury plate. 珍羞, the most valuable and rare dishes, foods. It cost, 直 here is the 通假字, so which basically that means they use different character but with the same pronunciations. So the character here 直 means straight, but actually it equals to the same pronounced word of 直, which means worse off. So here is actually the sentence pattern is exactly the same as the first sentence. The very expensive red foods in the jade plate, it cost worth of 10,000 money. With the first two sentences, it started with a very luxury and maybe very happy situation, a big party, very luxury party there. 停杯投箸不能食. I stop my cup and I drop my chopsticks. I cannot eat at all. 拔剑四顾心茫然. I take off my sword and I look around, don't know what to do. So if we cross-check the poems written by the famous South Dynasty poet Bao Zhao, you can find a lot of interesting things. So in one of the poem by Bao Zhao, it has the words 对岸不能食，拔剑击筑长叹息. Can you feel the similarity? And the images is almost the same, except the Bao Zhao uses his sword to strike on the pillars, as that's the very traditional and typical situation. But with Li Bai's writings, he take off his sword, but he just wondering. He didn't know what to do. Actually, when he take off the sword, he want to cut on the pillars, but the fury, in my wild guess, the fury is not so big enough to let him to cut on the pillars. And also in the poems we just had, 抽刀断水, so that's the same situation, but Li Bai make that situation in a very unique ways. He take off his knife and cut on the rushing waters, and this is the creativity only belong to Li Bai, but that's 20 to 30 years from this poem. Another two sentences from Bao Zhao. 奉君金樽之美酒，玳瑁玉匣之雕琴. So with the golden cups and the best wines, and also with the most best luxury musical instrument. So there's a little difference from the first and second sentence of this poem, but basically the meaning, the images is quite similar. The nice wines, that's a must to have, and the second, it depicts a very best luxury dining party. In the world of classic Chinese poetry, the poets, they borrow each other, the ideas, the wordings very freely, just like open source today, or even much better than open source Creative Commons. They don't need to note the source, where it came from. They just borrow the ideas or the words at their own wish. A lot of the most famous sentences, actually, the image or the idea is not created by the poet we know, but he borrowed the idea or the image from another previous poet or poem, and then he rephrased that image or ideas with his own creativity, and then with the combined joint efforts of the two poets, or maybe 3 or 4 poets through the long histories, finally they made an image together with the wordings eternal, which still exist in today's Chinese language. Okay, let's continue with the poem. 欲渡黄河冰塞川. I want to cross the Yellow River, but the river was blocked by the iceberg, so that's quite ordinary in the winter's time. 将登太行雪满山. I want to climb up the big mountain, Taihang Mountain, but the heavy snow is all over the mountain, which made me cannot climb up. So the first 6 sentences, actually, the poem started with a very luxury dinner. It looks like a very positive and happy event, but from the third sentences, he totally changed the pitch and the emotions that he expressed. He was in such a big worry. He cannot eat even the best thing he loved all through his life. The most expensive ones, he cannot drink it. Needless to say, the best dishes. And also with somewhat level with fury, he take off his sword. He want to cut to the pillar, but he didn't do that. He just wandering. It looks like totally lost. And what make Li Bai so worried and made him somewhat fury, and what make him totally lost? So in the 5th and 6th sentences, Li Bai tell out his feeling or his guess. It's the heaven that prevent me to cross the Yellow River, to climb up the big mountains. So at the very beginning of this video, I have introduced that the journey is almost identical to the career path or to the lifelong pursuit. So here, when a Chinese read to these sentences, we know the Yellow River and the Taihang Mountain is the big lifelong pursuit or goal for Li Bai, and that's big goals because the Yellow River and the Taihang Mountain is the most longest rivers in a Tang people's mind, and the Taihang Mountain could be the most high mountains in a Tang people's mind. So they use these 2 biggest natural wonders to simulate their lifelong pursuit or their goals. With the lifelong pursuit image in mind, let's rephrase these 2 sentences now. So I want to get to my lifelong goals, but the heaven don't let me get through, because the goals was the Yellow River, and the heaven let the river blocked my way with huge iceberg. The Taihang Mountain is my lifelong goal. I want to climb up, but the heaven let the big mountain all covered with heavy snow, which make me can never climb up the mountains. It's all the heaven's fault. Okay, this is the first part of this poem illustrations. I will continue to talk and discuss this poem in a later video. Bye bye for now.